70 to 80% of those conversations are, oh, we're going to wait until spring. Okay, all fine and good. The problem with that, though, by waiting as a seller until spring, now you're doing what 80% of people are sellers are striving to do, which is.
What about the craziest request from a player for you to do?
The most uncomfortable request, and this happened a couple of different times, was players identifying women in the bleachers or above the bullpen or whatever it might be during BP. And
hello and welcome to Here's the Pitch. I'm your YouTube friend Brad, and this is sponsored as always by Massa's Restaurants in St. Louis. STLMassas.com is their website. If you're driving through St. Louis, take a look. Now, this is a new podcast, a new series of podcasts that I'm going to be doing. And if you come here for other material, that stuff will still be here. It'll be coming all the time. But I'm specifying some new material. And today we're talking real estate. You'll be seeing some law talk every once in a while on this channel in a series. You'll be seeing some money talk a lot of times here in a series. We'll have a sports kind of podcast, kind of a different talk on that. But today we're going to be talking about real estate and some of the simple things. But my guy today was also a bat boy for the Cardinals, so a very interesting thing. So let's get to our guest right now. It's Nate Pfizer from Pfitzer Realty. Hello, Nate. Thank you for joining me.
Hello. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Look forward to this.
Yeah, so this is exciting. Nate's going to be with us. We'll see, maybe once every 3 weeks, 4 weeks. We're going to just talk about real estate, his career, what's going on with market trends. You can ask us questions in the comments if you're interested in knowing more, and I can filter those to Nate. But Nate helped me sell a house. It was quick. It was painless. And so you'll be seeing more stuff like this. So thank you, sir. So you're a realtor in St. Louis. Let's get everybody your bio here. Tell everybody about how long you've been doing this and how we can get a hold of you. Let's get that out of the way and just kind of how this all began for you.
Yeah, sure. So it began for me, much like a lot of people, where didn't really think that I'd ever do this full time and as a career, but here we are. So I've been licensed officially since 2007, full time since 2015. I'm with Keller Williams Realty out of Sunset Hills, actually out of town and country. Our office is Sunset Hills, though. And on my team, there's four of us. There's two salespeople, a consumer relations manager, and also a transaction management staff. My background is I went to Webster University, graduated with a business degree. At that time, I was working. Go Gorlocks. At that time, I was working for the Cardinals, and I didn't want to quit that job, but I also didn't really know what I wanted to do as a full-time career. So I avoided growing up as long as I could, and I heard players complain about their realtors here locally, just kind of being starstruck, getting lost in the celebrity. I'm like, I can do that. I need a side hustle anyway in the winter time and when the team's on the road. So let's give that a shot. But again, never in my wildest dreams did I ever think that I would quit baseball eventually and focus on residential real estate as a career. But I'm glad I did.
Yeah, so we're going to have fun here because we're going to tell some baseball stories. We're going to talk real estate. We're going to mix the two. I was jealous of you because this is when I met you. I was working with the Cardinals at Fox Sports Midwest. You transferred from being just Nate the Bat Boy to a clubby, which is a great job if you're a baseball guy, although the hours are crazy. But yeah, I was when you told me your idea of like, I think I'm going to go into real estate because look at the clients I have right here. And I thought, this guy's a genius. So it was pretty awesome. But yeah, your clubby days. I mean, when did you start as a bat boy for the Cardinals, and how did you get that job?
Yeah. So I started in 1998. I followed in the footsteps of my brother and sister. And as my first job as a 16-year-old at the time, I remember I interviewed with Mike Bertani, part of the operations staff at the time, and I got a job as an usher to start the season. To start the 98 season. At that time, my brother was a fill-in for Fred Bird. So whenever Fred Bird was double booked, that was a little side hustle for him.
Whoa. This is a secret. We can't, there's one Fred Bird, Nate. I'm kidding. Maybe people didn't know this.
Yes. My fault. He was Fred Bird. He was an employee for the Cardinals at the time as well. And he just always wanted to be moving, right? So he took on some opportunities to fill the Fred Bird role from time to time. And at Old Busch Stadium, the Fred Bird changing room was adjacent to where the Bat Boys changed. So my brother got to be pretty decent friends with a couple of the Bat Boys back then. And one of the guys, I think it was Matt, who was going away to college, it was by virtue opening up a Bat Boy job. And back then it was pretty much just, who do you know? What connections do you have? And if you pass that test of working for a homestand and the other clubbies liked you, the boss liked you, Buddy Bates at the time, then you got a job. That was basically it. So we were on a youth group trip back in June of '98, flew back home early, had kind of an audition for one of those homestands in July, and that was that. So they let me finish out the year, and I guess I didn't piss anybody off, at least enough to not welcome me back. And then, came back in 1999, did the Bat Boy gig through 04. At the time I was 22, full facial hair. I didn't feel like a boy at the time, Bat Boy. So luckily there was some turnover within the house, and they kind of promoted me, if you will, to a clubhouse attendant, i.e. clubby, as we are known, or were known. So, and then that was basically 05 through 2014.
Yeah, you and Josh, everybody remembers Josh. Josh looked like he was 70 years old, maybe. Could have been smoking cigarettes. I love Josh.
Josh is, you think of early 2000s Cardinal baseball, you think of, Edmonds and Roland and Josh.
You do. You see Josh, yes.
He was synonymous.
So we're going to zigzag between baseball and real estate. So if you're interested in the baseball stuff, trust me, I'll get to that. But let's just talk real estate 2023. Where do we stand right now if we're trying to buy a house? We know that 2022 got a little ugly for folks at the end. So just give me, hey, I'm here trying to buy a house. What do I do? Do I wait till the spring? Should I wait till the summer? Tell me just exactly what you're telling people right now.
Yeah, sure. The end of 2022, so say November through December, things really stagnated like we haven't seen in quite a long time. The rates went from, 3 in the 3% range back in March and April, started climbing in, May, June into the 5s. By July, we got into the 6s. August came back down into the 5s. And we ultimately peaked in October at about 7.2, which was the first sustained period of time where the rates were over 7 in 20 years. So 02 was the last time we had sustained, 7% interest rates. And that, of course, slowed down buyers. But I think what the Fed didn't see coming was the lack of sellers. Right? It takes sellers in order to satisfy the buyers, right? And, the sellers that want to sell, but they don't need to because they don't want to trade in a 3% for 7% at the time, you saw a stagnation there. So our days on market has not really increased much, despite the rest of the nation. The nation is up 30% in inventory. We're holding steady at about 1.4, 1.5 months, which is next to nothing still. So fast forward now to current day, we're having a lot more conversations, many more than we were back in the end of 2022. And we're telling people the same thing. The rates are, I think today, I think I saw 6.3, 6.2. That's just an industry average across the nation. Do it. Buy, sell, move. The industry needs it. The economy needs it. The rates are not going to stay this high for long. You can always refi. That's what we're telling people. Marry the house, date the rate, lock yourself into the home that you want because you're going to get less competition. You'll be paying marginally less than what you would have back in April. So it's maybe not 100% wash, but it's maybe an 80% wash. And then, be patient for the next, 6 months, 18 months, whatever it might be, when the rates do duck back into low fives and high fours, because all the insiders are telling us it's going to happen. It's just a matter of time. And then that's when you refi.
Yeah, it was me. Like in 2018, I bought a house. I think it was 4.7, maybe 4.8. Looked at the rate, came down to 3.7, and now I'm at like 3.0 or 3.07. So yeah, refining is such an easy way to go. Yeah, I mean, so I've heard another agent say, with the rates going up, sometimes the prices are coming down, and then now you're really just sort of breaking even. So don't get caught up on the rate. Like you said, find the house. What's a good time? Like right now, I know a lot of people always say, "Oh no, spring. You wait till spring. You want to." Is that still a thing that goes through people's minds? And do realtors say that? Do people say that, or is there a time to wait?
Yeah. We're having daily conversations with listings that expired from the MLS or canceled from the MLS. And I would bet you 70 to 80% of those conversations are, we're going to wait until spring. Okay, all fine and good. The problem with that, though, by waiting as a seller until spring, now you're doing what 80% of people are sellers are striving to do, which is go back on market at the peak time, right? And you have a lot more competition. If I'm a seller, if I want to sell, if I need to sell, I'm doing it now because the competition is less and it will be less than the springtime. The spring's always busier, right? Cyclically, it's, January, February, pretty slow. Once Super Bowl comes and goes, things start peaking a little bit, not peaking, but improving, increasing in demand. March, April picks back up. May, June are gangbusters. June, July July, August kind of lulls out a little bit, and then September picks back up. So if I'm a seller and if I really want to sell, I'm really considering doing so now and trying to beat that spring surge. Homes are still selling at a high demanded for price, not as high. Like, for example, the home that we sold for you back in the springtime, that thing sold for what? 40,000 over list price or whatever it was.
Well, we were going to start low, and me and you, this is why I love Nate, because he was like, no, let's see. And then another house sold in that neighborhood at a weird, crazy price, more updates. And I said, how about we go, and this is why I love Nate. And he's like, yeah, we can move it up. And it kept moving up. And we moved up to a number that we felt very comfortable. I was like, wow. And then, you said it went over 40,000. So I'm guessing those days are over. But yeah, no, I didn't want to interrupt, but it was fun to work with you and see how we could do that together.
Yeah. Well, and keep in mind, too, that the house needed a minimum of $40,000 in updates as well. Right? I mean, I think we can all agree upon that. Floor, it doesn't take much to spend $40,000 in a kitchen and a bathroom. So back then you sold for, let's say 40,000 over list price. You had upwards of 10 to 12 offers, I think it was. In this market with the higher rates, you're probably selling for 15 to 20,000 over list price with 3 to 4 offers. See what I'm saying? So the homes are still selling at a highly demanded for value and pace, but not nearly as high as they were.
My favorite thing that happened, by the way, I don't know, I'm sorry to cut you off, but no inspections and no walkthrough. And I was like, what beautiful world am I living in? There's no way this is going to work. And the folks came in from out of town. They bought it. Is that still happening? I mean, that seemed the most incredible to me, because I've sold many houses in my life and a little bit of water, and it ended the deal. And I said, well, wait, no, you can't just walk away. And they said, no, we're walking away. I'm like, wait, you have seed. So I had a real problem with real estate agents till I met Nate. But that was my crazy when I said, wait, no inspection, none of that. And so is that still kind of happening?
I would hedge a bet that it would be harder to do that in this day and age with your mom's house then, because it did need updates, right? Now, the goal that we have with all of our listings is still to max out sales price, and by doing so, we're going to get multiple offers, and we're going to set a price at a very actionable price point and threshold for people to get the multiple offers, to pit the one against the other or the three against the other three, and try to find not only the highest price but also the most convenient sale. So in your case, waive appraisal, waive inspections. That's how we get that. We don't go into it saying, give us this. We make them kind of earn it, if you will, by getting the multiple offers. That area is a fantastic area. A lot of people want to be there. And and that helped, obviously. But yeah, to answer your question, we're still seeing some sort of extent of pace and escalated offers, but not as high. 3% difference is a big difference for an interest rate. So it does minimize some liquidity that buyers generally need for updates.
Yeah. So I'm going to definitely ask you some more real estate questions. I want to flip the baseball, but anything that you want to mention, if I miss anything at the end that we haven't covered, or something you want to, a true message you want to get out there before I kind of come back to real estate. We're going to do some baseball here, but anything?
Yeah. Hey, let's enough business talk, right? Let's get into the fun stuff.
No, I think this is helpful too, though, and I think a lot of people wanted to live in the house that I lived in as a kid. I mean, that was a big seller.
There you go, right? Exactly.
So I sent you a list of questions. You're like, yeah, I'm not going to dig into that, but I did. It's always interesting to me to watch, because I was around baseball for so many years, and that last home series where the players are walking in with wads of cash and just doiling it out. Was there ever a time where you got a special tip? You did something and you got a special tip. You don't have to say the player if you don't want to, but is there a number, like a crazy amount of money that was given to you in a rubber band, and what was it for?
Honestly, from a monetary perspective, is pretty equal for all of us clubbies. Now it would hinge upon full-time versus what we were, which was seasonal full-time, so we worked every single game. A lot of, I guess 3 or 4 of our clubhouse colleagues were more deemed as I guess full-time, because they would work on the teams on the road and also in spring training. So they usually got more, right? That's fair. It makes
Damn Walshy. Sorry.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Hopefully he's watching. Hopefully let's say Rip's watching. My guy, and he's still in the visiting clubhouse, still over there. Buddy, I believe, watches some of this stuff down in Florida. So hello.
Watching Florida for sure. I think one of the really cool things is developing those personal connections and friendships with the guys. So kind of back in the glory days, or at least my glory days, which nothing beat the early 2000s. Say the 2000 through 06, 07. Those were the glory days where, guys would give you their cars to drive while they're on the road. I guess those kind of perks that may not be, monetary, but like pretty cool, driving to Webster and Jason Dringhausen's Porsche, or Matt Morris's Range Rover. Like that was.
I wouldn't want to do that. Awesome. I wouldn't want to, because I don't trust the people around me, to be honest. What if someone rear ends me and now I'm calling Matt Morris or God forbid Izzy?
It's those kind of things that my irresponsible ways didn't even blink an eye at. I'm like, it's no big deal. Nothing bad's going to happen. Steve Klein used to give us his house keys and party at his house while the team's on the road. It's things like that. But keep in mind that it's the clubhouse job. It's a really cool job. They will always be my greatest working years as far as memories and the fun that we had. But you don't do it for the money. You work for tips, and you get a small hourly pay, and do your best that you can to time the historical perspective wisely. And I lucked out so much there, being a part of the 98 McGwire home run chase. Nothing was like that. I mean, that, BP batting practice was a marquee event every single day. And then you get into the highly successful years, the 100-win seasons of 04, 05, the championships of 06 and 2011. We're fortunate that the organization included us in 4 World Series rings.
That's my next question. So I'm going to beat you right to it. Personal question.
Yeah.
Do you get a share like all the players do? Is there a share given out to a clubby?
There, for us, never at full by any means. But yeah, you do a good job, you'll be rewarded for it. And it all comes down to the players and how much they want to cut you in. Is it an eighth of a share? Is it a quarter? Whatever it might be, hinges on a yearly basis. And as a 21-year-old kid, that was all of the motivation. Actually, the motivation was the hardware at that age for me. I wanted a ring more than anything, and we got them. Lo and behold, and they sit in a box in the safe deposit box. I never see them. So, what's the point? But they're awesome to show off. But yeah, I mean, again, you don't do it for the money. The money can be good for sure, but you better win a World Series or get damn close doing so. Outside of that, they can be some dog hours. Especially like Wall Street. Those guys who go to Florida. They're working basically 6.5 days a week on average in those 8 weeks, and they're earning a hard living there for sure. And they're up at 5 in the morning, 4 in the morning.
Right, the Florida thing. And then I traveled for a couple seasons and saw just the way the team gets off the flight. You get to the hotel. There's the clubbies. They got the bags. They bring them to your room. I mean, they're just and then off to the stadium. It's a crazy. I mean, those guys. And the funniest thing about it is, as a producer for television, I always wanted to do features on anybody, and they're like, nope, we're behind the scenes. So there's a culture there that's awesome too that I love. Yeah. So just a couple quick hits. I talked about a tip. What about the craziest request from a player for you to do? If you could think of something off the top of your head. I know Jaime Garcia, asking for new shoes or something. That's the first guy I think of possibly having weird requests. But anything that was just like, well, that's the one I'll keep in the back for a story when I have my own podcast with Brad.
Yeah, honest request, man. I would say the most uncomfortable request, and this happened a couple of different times, was players identifying women in the bleachers or above the bullpen or whatever it might be during BP, and then you're propositioned with having to go out there and strike a conversation with said girl and leave a phone number for them to call later on or get theirs. You talk about being reduced to about that size.
How often did that happen for you? Yeah, how often did you do that? How often did this happen for you?
It happened, I can think of 3 times for sure. And then the older I got, I'm like, I remember declining that before, as I aged and then thought better. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do this. If you go, I'm not going to, I have no idea what her situation's like. I'm not going to be, I don't want to get punched by her boyfriend who's sitting right there, maybe.
Tell me, what did the girls say? Was it always, oh my God? Or was it like this?
Shock. They don't believe you, like I had to show them my Cardinal ID. Yeah, I mean, I know it's unbelievable. I get it, but it's happening, and do with it what you will, and I was usually in and out in a hurry. Yeah. And I have no idea if it ever resulted in any.
Yeah. Well, it's fun because I actually began my career at Busch Stadium, I think not as an usher, but they had this sweeper position that because when the Anheuser-Busch's owned it, they wanted it the cleanest stadium possible. So they had this massive, and it was in high school still, but you'd see Lee Smith sleeping in the 5th inning out in the middle of the kind of the way to the bullpen, because back then the way to the bullpen was past the usher's room, and then in the 7th, he was doing something else. And then by the 9th, he's in there closing out the game. So Lee had a full day before that game would hit. So always funny.
Yeah, I would say the guys have forgotten about their wedding anniversaries before, So in a pinch, we have to go out there and, you know, find the biggest, baddest bouquet of flowers and go deliver them. And with my penmanship on there, you know, we've had to do that a couple of different times. So it's legitimately you're on call for basically anything that they need. And that's okay. It's what endures you to them, puts you on a trustworthy basis. That's what earns you your tips. And that's, you know, just the nature of the beast. I don't know how much of that goes on anymore, to be honest with you. I know things have changed dramatically, over the years.
The no fun time. Yes. We've entered no fun time for the players too.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, it's much more of a business, that's for sure. You know, the dietary restrictions now the guys had. I mean, you know, back in the early 2000s, we flipped burgers and put out pizza rolls and bagel bites for the guys. You know, like there's no one cared. You know, now it's all high protein and you know, low carbs, or, you know, whatever it might be, and, you know, personal chefs, and times have changed.
Yeah.
You know, people ask me, do I miss it? And the simple answer is yes, I miss my years. I don't miss the years now.
That's true. And I think the same thing, because I was very fortunate to be around at the same time. And I remember traveling and thinking this is going to be a party, and there's just going to be, it was scores of girls coming through the hotels, and those guys were all married. And they're like, no, going to bed. You know, like you'd see a few guys out. Izzy liked to have a beverage, you know, maybe with Murph and the Bull, but there was nothing nefarious. It was just having a couple drinks. And now it's even a younger group, and they're playing video games in their hotel room against the other guy in the other hotel room, you know, from what I understand. I'm not there anymore, but no, we have so many more questions to do, real estate and baseball. We're going to do more of these. Nate, are you excited? Have you had fun so far on your first journey on Here's the Pitch?
I enjoy going down memory lane, especially about baseball. It means so much to so many St. Louisans, and it's fun to talk about for sure. I do. I look forward to it very much, and yeah. If you are one of those people who are looking to sell or buy or even invest in real estate like I am, feel free to reach out to us anytime. I'm sure you'll probably put up some information, but we can be reached at www.keyfits right here .kw.com. So keyfits.kw.com.
I'm also a client, and the man sends you coupons to pizza places. You get swag. I got a pumpkin pie for Thanksgiving. I mean, not only do you take care of your clients during the process, but you don't forget about them after. It's why there's a barbecue that you guys have out in the middle of the summer. It's really
Garden. Yeah.
You got to make that.
We don't let you forget about us. That's for sure. You'll be hearing from us.
Yeah.
We're a very relational team, which, that goes back into why 85% of our business is repeat and referral. And we like it that way. You know, we're looking to grow more of that. And, there's still more fun sports stories to come, even in my post-baseball days. We're helping a lot of the STL City guys right now, too. So we can even delve into that.
Yep. So I think, Nate, if you have any comments, please put them in here on our chat. We're going to bring them to Nate the next time. Baseball, real estate, turn on that subscribe button and notification button so you can see when the next ones come. We want to create a new thing here, and then you can watch the other ones where I'm doing a financial guy with my buddy Pete. We got some law talk. We're just changing up the channel, so this will be fun. Appreciate Nate for joining.
Yep.
Thank you, Nate. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye,